Welcome to this week's episode of So You Wanna. We are going to cover an interesting topic, deviate a little bit from our political and business commentary and shift into a little bit more of cultural commentary. Once again, I'm going to be in the hot seat, but along with my clueless co-host, self-proclaimed, Frank, and we're going to be talking about Fire Island Pines, the mythical, semi-mythical, queer, lovely place.
So I'm less clueless about this topic, which is great because I'm usually the clueless co-host. But I mean, we've both been there for that matter. So
a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
So Megan.
Yeah, we have Megan here. She can be the clueless co-host this time around.
I'm the clueless co-host.
What's one question that you've wanted to ask?
Just one?
We'll start with one.
The first one.
We can really go kind of back to the basics and just get kind of started. When did you guys start going out there? Did you start together? Were you guys going separately? How did your journey in the Pines start?
Megan's jumping right on in with this one, and she didn't even realize it. So, Frank, why don't you talk about how we first ended up in the Pines in 2023 together?
I'll talk about this. Yeah, so I had never, we've only ever gone together. Since we started dating in 2021, we went for the first time in 2023. How it happened was that when I was working in New York City after grad school in 2017, 2018 timeline, I was on dating apps. And I had gone on a couple of dates with this guy named Lucas. And he and I maintained our friendship. And, you know, nothing romantically happened between us. But it was nice that, you know, I feel like I would definitely not consider Lucas an ex in the traditional sense. However, it was just somebody who I went on dates with, but became friendly with.
It just fizzled out.
Yeah, but it was nice that I was able to maintain the friendship as well. Obviously we were following each other on Instagram, just kind of keeping up, responding to each other's stories and stuff like that. At the time, I don't think that it had ever come up in our dates that he was, he organizes house shares in Fire Island. And I can get into that in a little bit, but he posted on his Instagram story that he had extra spots available in his house shares, that he had specific weeks where you have a number of beds, a number of people in the house that you can sell the shares to essentially. So when he posted that on Instagram, I brought it up to Jason, and I was like, full disclosure, I've been on a couple of dates with this guy. He and I have hooked up. Nothing's really there. He was dating somebody, I think at the time, and I obviously was dating Jason. So Jason said, let's go for it. So I messaged him and I was like, hey, we're interested. Pricing, logistics, just tell me everything I need to know. And he gave me all the information. He is a very fantastic, host, and he really loves, especially at that time, introducing people to the island. And I feel like that was a really, really good introduction because there is a lot just with respect to physically getting there, the social aspects, kind of how the house shares work and all of that. Like I said, we can dive into that, whatever you're curious about, but it's not as easy as, going on hotels.com and booking a hotel room. Yeah. I kind of had that in with, somebody that, I maintained the friendship with. So I know I'm talking a lot, but just be a nice person, make friends. That's sometimes it's all, you never know who might be able to offer you an opportunity that you never realized before. So, so that's kind of how we got started going, and we just kept on going.
Great. So I guess break down that kind of the house share, I guess. I feel like most people kind of have heard of that, not just in the Pines, but in other places. I mean, Summer House is a huge show on Bravo, and that's literally a shared summer house in the Hamptons. So how does Fire Island Pines kind of differ from other places, or is it all shared houses? Is it, just one or two? Is it an entire block? How does it differ from other places? And when you kind of say, I'll get into it a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So it's, the way I understand it is that people who are way more type A and organized than I am, kind of at the end of the summer will shop around for the different houses that, are available through the, real estate companies, I guess, on the island. where it's not
and also independently. Love booking direct because real estate commissions are really high.
That too. So it's not like when you go to the Jersey Shore, it's kind of just weeks based. And you can just like get a week even like on Airbnb or something like that. In a house down the shore. In Fire Island Pines, it's more common that the houses are sold in quarter shares or half shares or even like full shares for the summer. A quarter share is essentially like 1 week per month from May, June, July, August, September. A half share is 2 weeks, and then the full share is just the entire house. They are very expensive, so that's why it gets to the point where whoever is organizing, like the house moms, essentially, are getting the rate and like seeing then like breaking it back down. It's like, okay, so if it's this much money for a quarter share for the summer, that's this much money per week, that's this much money per person with respect to if it's like a house that sleeps 8, if it's a house that sleeps 6, something like that. And that's kind of like how the price breakdown goes. It does get to be kind of expensive.
I can put some dollars and cents behind it. So most homes that are rented out for this like share setup are 3 or 4 bedrooms. And those houses are going, if you rent just 1 week, a single week during the summer, you could be looking at $16,000 or $18,000 for the 1 week. When you do the quarter share at a minimum and kind of lump it together, the quarter share is about $40,000 to $50,000 for like a nice 4-bedroom house. That's not on the beach and not on the bay. Those are even more money. So it's like, it's crazy expensive to do the individual weeks. You save a little more when you do the quarter share or the half share or the full share. The other thing that really factors into it as well, or what makes it kind of unique, is that you're not getting the first week of every month. There's this kind of rotational setup where the weeks everyone gets, like in the quarter shares, everyone gets one of the prime weeks. And then it kind of gets rotated around. So you're not going like once every 4 weeks. You're going maybe you'll go like there'll only be a 2-week gap between some of your weeks because Memorial Day, July 4th, Pines Party Week, which is at the end of July, beginning of August, and Labor Day gets split between the 4 quarter shares for the house. So it kind of jumbles the schedule a little bit of how it works, but everyone ends up with 1 holiday week to go with. But it's incredibly expensive for what it is.
There was just some viral tweet that, occurred a week or so before we're taping this podcast that like, just, people expressing opinions about whether it's worth it or not to spend that much money, where you can go on a solo trip, to Europe for that matter, for the same amount of money per person. And is it more worthwhile to do that? It's more worthwhile to go to Fire Island. I think that there's a debate to be had there. Then
I think there's value in both, and they're very, very different experiences. Like you go there. Let me back up. There is no other place in the world where you can go and it is uniquely and entirely queer people. And there is something just so special about that experience. And that's what makes it unique. Now, the expense behind it, the cost, the time it takes to actually physically get there, the logistics, like it is very limiting. And there are racial and class issues behind that the island has to work on as a whole. But I think I got caught up in a little bit of discourse on Twitter last week with people who consistently hate on the island for no other apparent reason than the fact that they are like, they're flat out losers who don't know how to socialize. There's no other way to say it. Like if you cannot maintain relationships and friendships, and then it is all houses, it is not hotels, so you can't go alone.
I was just about to ask, is there literally any place that a solo traveler, because my perspective, literally the only like queer beach town I've gone to is Rehoboth. It's very family friendly. It's not just, it is very queer friendly, but it is also very family friendly. They want vacationers and all of that. So I was able to book a solo trip there, but it sounds like there's literally no options. It's only a party place, which is great for some
It's
people. You
not
have to
just-
expect that.
It's not just a party place though, and I think that's a little bit of the misnomer too. Like everyone's like, oh, all the gays go there and have like tons of sex and this and that and do tons of drugs and party nonstop. It is very much so a choose your own adventure. And that's how Lucas, who introduced us to the island, taught us about it. We went last summer. Yeah, I think it was last summer. We went to like see a show, a reading of a play one night. And like that was our adventure for the night, after sitting by the pool and whatnot. Frank goes and he's a sober sister. Like he doesn't partake in any of the substances. I went this most recent time. I think I had one drink and one glass of wine, a Pines Punch, which we can talk more about. I don't know what's in a Pines Punch. You don't want to ask, but like they're lethal. So I had one at tea. Somebody forced me into having one. And then I had a glass of wine, but like that was it. The other 3 nights that we were there, I was completely sober as well. So it doesn't have to be this like ruckus party destination. Like there are, and during the week in particular, it's like that. But like when we were leaving on Thursday, we saw the ferry with like 400 people getting off of it. And like a bunch of our friends that were like, why are you one of the 5 people who's getting back on the ferry to leave? Like this is when you're supposed to be coming to the island.
Yeah. And I mean, so there's Fire Island Pines, and there's also Cherry Grove. They're separated by a sandy expanse called the Meat Rack, which is,
and has the Judy Garland Memorial Path that cuts right through it.
Yeah. But in Cherry Grove, there's a hotel. And
the Pines will have a hotel eventually. There's like a lot of discourse about that, which we can get into in a future date and time.
Yeah. So, there is like the possibility to do that. It's like some houses is like, it might be like a little bit more common in the Grove for that matter. We'll like rent out for like a weekend. So you can kind of like try it out. But, just I think what's really indicative of kind of there are some barriers to entry there is that there's a Facebook group called the Boys of Fire Island. And how people get noticed on the Boys of Fire Island is they post like shirtless pictures of themselves and they're like looking for a room from this day to this day. I think just the fact of how popular that Facebook group is, it is probably the sole reason why I use Facebook, just to like, because also like, if like you like lose your wallet or something.
Famously, if you lose your license, it gets posted on there. Our friend Noah.
It's like kind of like a little like community page, but people use it very, very frequently to like find like housing essentially. And the fact that that's, one of the main ways in which people find housing is, I think, indicative of how there are barriers to entry there, and just, how people post shirtless pictures of themselves. There's pretty privilege. There's a lot of factors at play there. But like, I think it's worth it. Once you get there, it's so much fun.
I think
it's so much fun.
The other aspect that kind of goes unspoken is that, well, maybe not, because our friend Zach, who organizes the house share that we participate in now, always says that like, you can't just invite anybody because these houses are also worth a lot of money. So like,
there's staying with everybody like in the house, like to a certain extent, like complete and total strangers are like, you're like living with them.
Yeah. So like you can't have someone who's like going to keep the entire house up, who's going to like damage a $2 million house and like not be able to afford to pay for said damage if they do. So Zach refers to it as social curation, that he only invites people who he knows or who someone he has a whole lot of trust in knows very well and like vouches for them. So there's this like social curation process that just innately happens. That's kind of really important to also just like the culture of the island as a whole. Again, there are issues with access and whatnot there, that the history and such that like exists and that creates, but at the same time, it keeps, I saw like, there was an awful post in response to the discourse I was involved in. And it's like, oh yeah, it's all about keeping the riffraff out. And like, to a certain extent, this is not like Manasquan, New Jersey, where like finance bros go and stack, 16 people in a 2-bedroom house and punch holes in the wall. Like that doesn't go on at Fire Island. It's not, there's still like a certain level of decorum.
Yeah, people are paying so much money and you like want a good experience if you're paying that much money. So but the money is the barrier for certain people. So
yeah, and we've talked about it a little bit, like with each answer, I feel like we've touched on it, but why don't we talk about the access in general? Because getting to Fire Island in general is a trek.
Well, you go to Montauk, so like that's even worse.
I don't have to take a ferry.
But you've got to suffer on
2 bridges are the worst, and driving through the Hamptons will kill me one day, but I don't have to take a ferry.
So Frank's father famously calls it the 5 miles of hell on the Cross Bronx.
The Cross Bronx Expressway. Yeah.
And that is easily like, once they're done with this Gateway Tunnel and boring those tunnels, like they need to just bore underneath like Manhattan, the Bronx, everything, so we can just have like a tunnel all the way from New Jersey to Long Island. That is like my hot take that like I just need that connection to like the Long Island Expressway, like straight tunnel, because the Cross Bronx is painful to the point where somebody didn't go to the bathroom before they left one time and had a little accident on the Cross Bronx.
It was very contained to Jason's protein shaker bottle thing. So,
Great.
you know.
Our branded ones.
Yeah, the literal branded ones from this company.
Love it.
Because there's nowhere to like get off or go to the bathroom. Like there's no hope whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, okay, so it is accessible via public transportation. Like a lot of like the gays who live in New York City who will take LIRR, the Long Island Railroad, from the city out to Sayville, which is like I think there's a transfer in Jamaica, I think. So you could take the subway to Jamaica.
Depending on time of day, you can take from Penn or Grand Central. Like the LIRR, I actually did that one time because this is like cracky behavior, but I was at a work conference in Las Vegas and our share week started. And I literally took the red eye from Las Vegas to JFK and took the air train from JFK to Jamaica and then the LIRR out. Honestly, it was a better, easier trip than driving in like a 1-seat
and
ride.
there's also driving for that matter. Once you arrive at the Sayville train station, there is a shuttle that takes you to the ferry. That shuttle is $6, all like cash only. So like
No. I think they started taking credit cards.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay.
No, maybe not. That's the HGL limo that did.
Yeah.
They only take cash. And some people are very, very insistent upon like have proper change because that's what slows us down when we're loading onto the shuttle.
And then it takes you to the ferry. The ferry is a quick 20 to 30 minute ride, like, across the bay to Fire Island. And then you get there and it's like summer camp, but just getting to summer camp and everybody with their like bags and stuff like that. It's very cute. But Jason and I drive because we're coming from suburban New Jersey. So we drive. There's a parking lot across the street from the ferry. So we go straight there. My grandma famously lives on the way. So we usually go visit her either on the way there or
Talk
on the way
about
back,
a mind
both.
fuck.
Yeah. Grandma's and Fire Island, kind of two opposite ends of the life spectrum, I guess. So it is a trek. Like it's like kind of a pain in the ass to get to. But historically, that is like by design. When Fire Island started becoming like a queer enclave in the 1920s, 1930s, especially to way prior to the LGBTQ rights movement, it was somewhere where it was like not easy to get to, so that it was secluded, it was private. People could be open about their sexualities in a time where homosexuality wasn't even like discussed as like a viable life option for that matter. So it's now that we have more acceptance, it's still like, well, we still gotta go all the way out there.
Like, fun.
Yeah,
They're just doing it for fun.
but like it does. I guess
It's not about the journey, but the destination.
Yeah, I guess it does help deter non-queer travelers also, because if it's so far out there and like just it's Long Island's just a stretch of not much going on for a while. So that's physically getting there. Not easy, but not the end of the world either.
Yeah, but seems worth it.
Yeah. But once you get there, it's very, very fun. It's like, I think that the social aspect, you have your house share, you're meeting people for the first time. Sometimes the people that are in your house share already. Like, when Jason and I first went out, our friend Lucas was the only one that we knew. And everybody else in the share.
You knew someone else from Twitter.
Oh yeah, I like knew some guy. Like I like recognized him. And I was like, wait, I follow you on Twitter. You do not follow me back. But he's like one of those people who like has like tens of thousands of followers and just like shit posts all the time, like funny things.
And what did you say that you knew about him?
Yes. So shout out to John Cameron. We're
going full names.
Every summer he brought a new boyfriend to Fire Island. And so I had texted Lucas that to be like, oh my God, wait, John Cameron's in this house. That is iconic. Every summer he brings a new boyfriend to Fire Island. Like I could barely get one like in my entire life. Jason's my first and only boyfriend. And then Lucas like openly told him that. And so we like meet John Cameron. I'm like, hi, I'm Frank. He's like, I heard you said that I bring a new boyfriend to Fire Island every summer. And I'm like, well, one, I told Lucas that in confidence. Two, it's an objective fact. Like,
You posted on Twitter.
yeah, like I'm not dragging you. I'm just pointing out something that happens. And that there was a new boyfriend that summer too. Like, that was his first summer bringing his then boyfriend. Yeah. So, it's just kind of, sometimes I do feel like it's like a who's who of like queer micro celebrities as well. Like Jason and I saw Taylor Phillips and Jeff O'Donnell. These names probably mean like nothing to like 99% of the population, but like gays who just are in tune with like the influencers on Instagram, stuff like that. Like, it's like, oh wow, like you recognize those faces because there's the ones like, hawking products and stuff to you. But they do seem like genuinely nice people for that matter. Like I haven't really interacted much, but most people that we've met out there, we've seen Andy Cohen, Andrew Scott, like stuff like that. It's most people who are out there, are out there to have fun and out there to enjoy themselves. When you get to the island, you're meeting so many people just because it's like a house share environment. You're forced to hang out with your housemates a lot. Everybody, the way that our house moms do it is that everybody has a night to cook dinner for everybody, which is like it's a nice way to, like cooking for people is, I think, just like a really, really fun way to, get to know each other.
I just have to cut it in because, again, there's been discourse online. Like, when you are cooking meals in the Pines, please do not try to be the Michelin star chef. Because one, I can guarantee you the house is missing something that you need. And two, you're dealing with people who were probably drinking at tea. You probably were drinking yourself, that now are coming back to use sharp knives and pointy utensils. And again, are missing things like the box grater, the mandolin. Like, these are not items to use. Like, just keep it simple. We famously will make sauce. My special sauce, we call it. I have either meat sauce or vodka sauce. We freeze it and then we bring it with us. And it's a great first night dinner because it literally defrosts on our way there. And then that night we make pasta with sauce. And it's like an easy dinner. If we have some like grilled chicken or something to put with it, like it's
a salad
easy
on the side, something like that.
But sometimes some people, and I get it, like if you live in the city and you don't have a big kitchen, like you just want to cook, but like, please, on behalf of everybody else who has to clean up the mess and eat the food, like, please keep it simple.
Yeah. But it's nice to cook for people. Like,
real bonding experience.
Yeah, it is
Everyone
cute.
really likes it.
Like, I don't know. I think it's cute and fun. But it's a nice way to get to know people. It's a nice way to like, just,
I always help out in the kitchen, clearly.
Yeah.
And I have saved many a meal.
Yeah. Sometimes meals turn out better than others just based on who's cooking. But you're kind of just like enjoying the moment. We're not there to have like, Michelin star food, as
Nothing
Jason
too
said.
fancy.
Yeah.
We've
but-
talked a lot about the limited access. What is the grocery store like? Like if you forgot something at home and you
The
needed it to
pantry.
make, like what do you do?
Oh, well, there's two. Let's talk about the pantry first. So those cookies, like, I don't know what's in them. Love eating them. Never feel good after I eat them. So it's got to be loaded with butter and sugar.
My grandma famously likes those cookies from the Pines Pantry also because we sometimes bring them to her. There's literally one grocery store. It's called the Pines Pantry. And it's pretty convenient. It's pretty well stocked in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's where like, if you like forget to bring something to the island, they'll have it. Obviously it's expensive, but like it's expensive to, get things to the island. So, it's the convenience is what you're paying for. They have great cookies. They have good prepared foods. They have great sandwiches.
Good lobster salad for lobster rolls.
Yeah, which it's like $70 a pound.
79. So the lobster salad, if you get like just a container of it, is famously $79.99 a pound. We really wanted to try it though. So we discovered a workaround where if you get the lobster salad sandwich, it's $23.99.
Yeah, it's usually it'll probably work out where it's like you're getting a better deal like per pound. But
And it was pretty good.
yeah, it was good. Like I was like, okay, at least it's good. But there's also you could do like Peapod orders from.
So I'll talk about this as the grocery shopper extraordinaire over here and extreme couponer. So some gay worked for Peapod and set it up where you can have your Peapod order sent to like the freight company that then will take it across the bay for you.
Oh.
I don't know how much it costs because I think they charge you per like tote that it's in. So I want to say it's like $5 per tote, which like most orders will have like 10 totes, but like you easily save the money when you're buying for like the full share week or for like 2 weeks. You easily save that much. And it's like, you also just get more selection and whatnot. Because the pantry is well stocked, but if you're looking for like 2 pounds of frozen shrimp, the pantry doesn't really have that. But that's something you can get at Stop and Shop for $13.98. And it's like a good deal and then ship it over. And that's like a better way to go. The only downside is that I remember one time, I think it was last year, I got in on the Friday, but you all were there on Thursday. I don't know how you survived. I think you got pizza or something because the Peapod order didn't come until the Friday and it was supposed to come on Thursday. So then it was just like, this didn't line up correctly. And it just happens because it's an island and like, what are you going to do?
Yeah. But that's, I mean, it's really like anything to get to the island. Like if you have to get like a new piece of furniture for the house, like you have to have like an account with like the like freight company.
Yeah, Coastal Freight.
Yeah. But that's more like homeowner stuff. Like, you know,
or like house moms, they figure that out and do it. So
we just kind of go and like the mom, that's why like, you know, like I joked before where it's like somebody who's like very more like much more like type A and organized than I am. If I really put my mind to it, I could be a house mom, but like you know what? Lucas and Zach are so good at it that I just let them take the reins. So
yeah. And they have like a good model for it where like everybody comes together for the house dinner because not everybody does that. And it's definitely an aspect that leads to the socialization and like getting to know people. I like meeting new people in the house and being with like random people. Like we're in a house with people we've never met before. Aside from Zach.
This coming July, yeah. In Zach's house share. It's like the week that we were able to go, we don't really know anybody in the house, but that, you know, the same thing last year was we didn't know like 5 out of the 8 people that were going to be in the house or something like that. And like it's the DC gays. Shout out to Jamie, Billy, and Patrick.
Works Daddy Patrick.
That like now we're like really friendly with, and like it's just like you meet people and like it's you know, and it was nice because they're gonna like kill me for saying this, but they're like a little bit older than we are. And it was just a different experience in that way too. Like you know, sometimes you get like the gays who are you know a little bit you know in their earlier 20s who are just. Still in that phase of their lives, you know, not disparaging that at all. But then you have gays who are like, you know, 30s and beyond that are, you know, it's just a different experience.
That like have like after dinner everything like to sit around and like hang out by the pool, hot tub, and then like go on a nighttime walk on the beach. And that can be like a very calming, very nice way to like end the night versus like, oh, let me schlep over to Cherry Grove, like walk through the meat rack or pay $10, then like get undressed for underwear party and then like, you know, shake my tits for like, you know, 2-3 hours and then have to get dressed up and like pay another $10, like 2-3. And that's just like a whole lot, which like we don't do that every single Friday anymore. But it's definitely something that a lot of people who are like first timers are like, oh yeah, we have to do it. And like, I'm all for that because I think it's a fun time. Like we do it like once or twice a summer, but now it's like not every single time that we're going to the underwear party or we do love, well, now it's not Divas anymore. Now it's Playback at Pavilion, which we haven't been to. Yeah.
There's just parties, like recurring parties that happen every week too. So, but one point that I just want to make about like, you know, the social aspect, the house shares and stuff is that, you know, Jason and I were obviously in our house share with our house mom, Lucas, the first time around. Lucas is how we met Zach. Zach also does house momming. In, you know, our share, we met, that first summer, we met one of our good friends named Alex. Alex's friend from high school, Eric, was in another house at the same time that we were in like a different house. He was in a house with our friend Noah, who like now Noah is one of our closest friends. Noah invites us out a lot because he has like, you know, access to the house there. So like, it's literally like, it's just like we go so much because we've built up a network of just meeting people, talking to people. And that's the really nice social aspect of it in an age where I feel like the queer communities are, because of, apps, because of just, just the general loneliness epidemic in the United States for that matter. Like the real sense of community in queer circles is kind of dying. I do feel like Fire Island Pines is like a good way to keep it alive. That being said, I know we've talked about this, like there are barriers to entry, but like once you get in, if you're making friends, if you're just, being real, being a fun, nice person, and like, yeah, sure, pretty privileged, but like, there's somebody out there for everybody. It's not just all the big roided out muscle gays. My body does not look like that. But it's a nice way to build a sense of community that I feel like is lacking in a lot of places in today's day and age in queer circles. So.
Some of the best days are just spent like hanging out by the pool in a small group with just your housemates, like 6, 8 people, and maybe some people trickle in who, friends of friends and whatnot. And that's how we became friends with Noah, with Brad.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of our friends that we're now friendly with, JJ.
Yeah.
And like there's so many people that it's just like we've met along the way. And it's also, I think the thing for us living in suburbia, we don't have a large queer community around us. So now these are friends who are not just friends on Fire Island, but also they live in the city. And we are getting invited to so many birthday parties, outings, parties in the city where it's like, hey, let's go out to dinner or go see a show or this and that. So it's like we've built a community of queer friends that I don't think would otherwise exist. And I think Fire Island was genuinely that pathway for us, which I didn't go into it thinking that. And now what's come out of it has been really remarkable. So
yeah, it's really nice. And we got very lucky because, like I said, my friend Lucas, he and I just maintained our friendship. I hadn't seen him for years before he posted that story about open spaces in his share. Like, and I just happened to reach out. I'm like, hi, like, and he said that we always vibed pretty well together, especially like as friends. So I think that take the opportunities as they come up, but even just like meeting people here or there, it's been really nice. We've gotten really lucky, and it's a good sense of community. And getting there is the hard part, but that's why we're doing this episode, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely think that everybody should experience it. I love it.
Queer people should experience it. Like straight people, please do not. It just like drives the price up.
yeah. But that debate where it was, should I go to, like, I could go to Europe for as much money as it takes to go to Fire Island. It's really, really invaluable. We talked about this like a little bit before, but like, even just like from like a social aspect, it will like pay dividends. It's so easy to make friends in Fire Island and just to talk to people. Heck, I was at the tea dance, which is like, the happy hour at the Will. Oh my God, Jason was I was like at tea dance the other day talking about my favorite psychological phenomenon and the most recent Peruvian presidential election. Why? Because these are the things that like fascinate me. And you know what? I like everybody wanted to talk to me about those really fun and cool topics. A lot of people are like, talking about parties, talking about this, talking about that. And that's why it's like, it's just, you'll find somebody who wants to, chit chat. Like I was talking about my favorite psychological phenomenon because one of we know 2 Noahs there. One of the Noahs that we know there is in the same online trivia league as me. And there was a question about the uncanny valley, which is the psychological phenomenon that is my favorite, in the trivia league that day. And we both had the same question. And I like went up to him and I was like screaming about it because I was so excited. And so it's like those little connections that, you never know like what you could talk to somebody about. So it's
definitely a little tism there.
No, and like the Peruvian president, we'll do. So you want to get into Peruvian politics?
It'll just be your episode, just you alone.
It's just me. Everybody Google Keiko Fujimori.
So when you ask why I decided to have a Pines Punch, that's the reason why. I was like, I need something to do other than be stuck in this conversation right now.
But anyway, what other questions do you have, Megan, about getting to Fire Island? Anything? So you want to go to Fire Island?
I don't know. I guess the only other thing I want to really touch on is just like, what happens if something happens? Because that's like literally the only thing I could think of is what if you need help and you're stuck on this island? Like that is a nightmare to me. And that's probably something that's going to stop people from going there because if you're going to spend all this money to go on this vacation and take this risk in a share house, what if you are with somebody you don't trust or you don't want to be with? You don't want to be there for the whole week and all of a sudden you're stuck. Like I went on a cruise my senior year of college and I will never do it again because I was in the middle of the ocean and freaked out because I could not go anywhere. And even though you can obviously get off the island a lot easier than you can get off a cruise, that's almost something that would prevent me from ever wanting to even think about going there because it's like, what if my house lit on fire? Is anybody going to come put it out?
So it's interesting that you asked this question because there's actually discourse as we're recording this online right now in the Boys of Fire Island because there was an incident in the harbor last night. So not sure where that's going to shift out, but the police are present and it's the Suffolk County Police. There are a lot of feelings about that. And I've always gotten the sense that they take a very backseat role. Now, granted, there was last summer, they were just being annoying, giving people tickets for open carry of alcoholic beverages, which like, there's no cars, there's no driving. So like, yes, it's the law and that's the law. But like, okay, in New Orleans, like people open carry alcoholic beverages, like it's fine, right? Like, yeah. So they were being annoying about that last year. I haven't heard that they were being annoying about that this year, but I think also everybody was like, okay, if I put in a red Solo cup, like, probable cause doesn't exist, right? So like that's not a legal opinion, but that's what I was told. So like, okay, right. So I think everyone just like learned how to like live with the police on that issue. But they are definitely there. We have had a diva down situation at T that we witnessed with an acquaintance, a friend of a housemate. And the police showed up very, very quickly. This is where we learned how like medical services works. Mm-hmm. And they were trained and the police are the first responders and they're specially trained to provide more medical care than like police on the mainland are because of this unique situation. Also, I will say when you're in a crowd of 500 gay men, the chances of having at least one like emergency medicine physician there or PA or MP or like somebody with some like the police
well-funded gays too.
Yeah, like the chance is incredibly high to the point where it was like, I think in this situation, the like urologist was like, okay, you have the emergency medicine. Like they're better at this than I am. And they like walked away because it was just like, you have someone who can, so like the chances are high there of having support.
There's a health center there too. Like,
for like,
like it's not necessarily like an emergency thing, but like if you like forget, like, like
PrEP, PEP, STI screenings, all that they do. They also help with like minor wounds, stuff like that. I also saw someone like sprained their or hyperextended their knee or something last week that they helped with. So like basic stuff they help with.
There's a cute doctor who works there. I'm trying to get hurt next time I'm there, but we'll see what I do, what I choose to do.
But yeah, so if there is something truly like 24 hours a day, the police, they have like a way of medevacing you on a boat, not a helicopter because there's no landing pad, but across back to the bay. And that was what this acquaintance went back across the bay. The larger challenge was that then the situation was like resolved, but all their stuff was in Fire Island. So like they needed to get back that night, but it was after the last ferry or potentially after the last ferry. But we also found out that you could like take an Uber from the mainland through Robert Moses State Park to regular Fire Island and then take a water taxi for like $30 from, is it water? No, it's regular Fire Island, like Ocean Beach or whatever to the Pines. So there's like a way to like get in and out 24 hours a day. There is a way.
You could book even like a private ferry for that matter. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, like how, like if like, I think in an emergency situation, like,
but there's always help there. There's also a volunteer fire department that we had a friend who was in the middle of some activities and one of the fire alarm went off and the hero went running to like, but it was a false alarm is what we were told.
He hit the pavement hard, if you know what I mean.
So there is a volunteer fire department. I think they're actually doing something, raising money right now to redo the firehouse too, because it is
I think so.
Old. But they got a new fire truck last year, which we were actually there when they like rolled it off the freight boat. So that was pretty cool. So yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel like there's a lot around like what actually like, goes on in Fire Island. But I feel like so many people don't really talk about like how to get there, like the logistics and stuff like that, like nobody really like thinks about, which is why I think this like, episode is cool and helpful in a different aspect for that matter. But we could talk forever about the parties, the like the schedule of everybody's day, the pools, the historic houses that are there, like this and that. But I feel like that's well trodden material. And when we wanted to go to the island, we were like, how do we even like get into a house or anything? So that's why
Before we wrap up, can you guys just say like one crazy story? Doesn't have to be your craziest if that's not safe for this podcast, but just give us one or two.
I don't think we're quite there yet for the craziest of stories, but there are many.
Yeah, it's always just me falling in love with somebody who's not Jason, for that matter. I'm not naming any names. Jason like wanted me to name names, and I'm absolutely not fucking naming.
We've
any
named
names.
a lot of names.
You
so.
named first and last names. And this
Yeah.
is where we draw the line.
The crazy story was it the first time that we were there?
Go ahead, and I'll let
The
you
Curry incident?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Yeah, there was a little like,
Because that was Pine Walk. That was the house on Pine Walk.
yeah, I ingested a substance unknowingly and like
Oh God.
unwillingly. And it wasn't intentional. It was just like, it was a mistake. But there was, so the house dinner, we came back to the house and we were, our friend Alex was cooking, and it was not Alex's fault. We were cooking curry and Alex was doing his best. The house was not stocked with whatever he needed, and curry, you have to chop up like a ton of vegetables. So I was like helping him and everything, and I was helping him cook. Meanwhile, there was another individual in the house who we called him the horse girl because he was addicted to ketamine. And
Addicted is strong, but just like loved it.
anyway,
Really, really loved it.
he had like medical grade ketamine in vials that was dissolved. So like his mechanism of ingestion was he would like take the vial apart, put it on a plate, and then put it in the microwave and like basically get it down to like the crystallized version that he would then like ingest. However, I was busy cooking and whatnot. Everybody else sat down. Horse girl had like done whatever he had done. The ketamine was on the stove and I wasn't paying attention. And I just grabbed a plate from where the stack of plates was. And I went and I poured myself curry that is very liquidy onto said plate. Bring my plate to the table, sit down. I start eating and everything. Like, we're all done eating, and 15 minutes later, horse girl gets up from the table and goes over by the microwave and says, "Hey, where's the plate I left over here?" That was the moment where I looked at all the other plates that were all white, and my plate was gray, and realized,
It was gray so that you could like see like the crystals. You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah.
Everything was fine. I was more nervous than Jason was. Like their programs in school like worked like too well on me. Like
I had never before,
like-
and this was like not intentional.
That
Was
is
not
scary.
something I like wanted to do. Again, like on this island for the very first time, we were having a great time, and I was like, literally, I had to look up what ketamine was.
Oh. And you were calling
Yeah.
this person a horse girl, and you had to look up what ketamine was.
Well,
Did you
we
not?
This is a
after-
retroactive nickname. Yeah. Yeah. So it was fine. It's a pretty safe environment in terms of like use of substances, just because everybody I feel like is very well educated on safe use of substances for that matter. There's a lot of people who have Narcan. There's a lot of people who are able to.
I now travel with my own because I don't partake, but
You never know.
you never know who's gonna like mistakenly mix up the plates on you
Mhm.
again.
Yeah. So it's the education is always there. You have like a lot of gays who partake, so therefore the education is there, and that's always good. And I think it's just a nice, like I was talking about before, like community. Like nobody's gonna judge you. Nobody's going to say like, oh wow, like you really fucked up your entire life. No, it's fine. It's like it really is just like, you're on the island to try new things, and sometimes like things don't work out exactly as you had anticipated, but everybody's there to help. Ketamine curry was a little crazy though.
That is crazy. That is
I was nervous, but we had fun. We went to a party, and it was.
I think it was more so concerning when someone walked behind me and saw me actively Googling on my phone, what is ketamine? Should I be worried?
Yeah. But it's a great island. We love it.
Super fun when that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So on that note, that's how you get to Fire Island Pines. So you want to go, and it's worth it.
Yep, I agree.
We'll see you out there on the ferry.
Yeah, hopefully you learned something, Megan. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, of course. I definitely learned a lot.